Geno Smith may soon be looking for a new team after reports surfaced that the Las Vegas Raiders plan to release him at the start of the new league year. But before the veteran quarterback even hit the free agent market, he found himself in a completely different kind of battle. A social media back and forth with the fast food giant Wendy's. What started as a playful joke from a brand known for roasting celebrities online quickly turned into one of the funniest and most talked about exchanges of the NFL offseason. And in the eyes of many fans, Smith didn't just respond, he completely flipped the script. To understand why this moment went viral, it helps to look at the context surrounding Smith's situation, the Raiders' quarterback plans, and the strange intersection of sports, marketing, and social media that created this unexpected moment. The news that started it all. The entire exchange began shortly after reports from Adam Schefter revealed that the Raiders were expected to move on from Smith when the new NFL year begins. Smith's release had been widely anticipated across the league. Las Vegas finished the season with a disappointing 3-14 record, the worst mark in the NFL, which secured the team the number 1 overall pick in the upcoming draft. With that position, the Raiders are widely expected to select Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, who led Indiana to its first national championship. For a rebuilding franchise, drafting a young quarterback with elite potential makes sense. And once that became the expected direction for the organization, Smith's role with the team became difficult to justify. His season statistics tell the story. Smith threw for 3,025 yards and 19 touchdowns, but he also led the league with 17 interceptions, which proved costly for an already struggling roster. The Raiders had hoped Smith would provide stability at quarterback while the franchise rebuilt the rest of the team. Instead, the season quickly spiraled into one of the worst campaigns in recent team history. Once the team secured the first pick in the draft, the writing was essentially on the wall. Smith's time in Las Vegas was coming to an end. Wendy's enters the conversation. Shortly after the release news began circulating, Wendy's official social media account decided to have a little fun with the situation. The fast food chain posted a message directly tagging Smith, offering him a job if free agency didn't go well. The post read, open quote, "In case things don't work out in free agency, we're looking for a chief tasting officer." Close quote. For many companies, that kind of comment might have gone unnoticed, but Wendy's has built an entire online brand around sharp, sarcastic humor. Over the past decade, the company has become famous for roasting competitors, celebrities, and sometimes even its own customers. Their social media strategy thrives on attention, and tagging a recently released NFL quarterback was clearly designed to generate engagement. At first glance, the joke seemed harmless, just another playful jab from a brand known for internet humor, but Smith clearly wasn't going to let it slide without responding. Geno Smith fires back. Smith's response arrived quickly, and it was surprisingly sharp. He wrote, open quote, "Get ya cheese up first," close quote. The phrase itself is slang, essentially telling someone to focus on making money before talking. But Smith didn't stop there. Along with the message, he posted a screenshot of a business article reporting that Wendy's sales had dropped significantly during the previous quarter. The article referenced an 11% decline in sales, which forced the company to consider closing 300 to 350 locations across the United States. In one move, Smith had turned the joke completely around. Instead of being the target of the roast, he pointed the spotlight back at Wendy's financial struggles. The internet loved it. Within minutes, fans began sharing the post across social media platforms, praising Smith for delivering a perfectly timed comeback. Smith doubles down. Most athletes might have left things there, but Smith wasn't finished. He followed up with another post that took the jab even further. Open quote, "Out here selling poison, trying to get jokes off on Twitter. Society in shambles." Close quote. The message suggested that fast food companies shouldn't be mocking athletes while selling unhealthy food. It was blunt, sarcastic, and exactly the kind of comment that spreads quickly online. Then came the final punchline. When one fan joked that there was beef between Smith and Wendy's, the quarterback responded with another memorable line. Open quote, This beef is about as real as the beef in those patties they're selling. Close quote. At that point, the internet collectively declared the winner, and it wasn't the marketing team. Why the moment went viral. This exchange quickly became one of the most widely shared sports stories of the week, but the reason it resonated goes deeper than just a funny insult. The moment highlighted a growing trend in sports culture. Athletes are increasingly willing to control their own narrative on social media. In previous eras, athletes rarely responded directly to jokes, criticism, or media commentary. Their public statements were filtered through interviews, press conferences, and team communications. Today, things are different. Players have direct access to millions of followers, and when something catches their attention, they can respond instantly. Smith's comeback worked so well because it flipped the power dynamic. Instead of a brand roasting an athlete for attention, the athlete roasted the brand right back, and arguably did it better. The financial reality. Another reason the joke didn't land particularly well is that Smith's financial situation is dramatically different from the one implied in the tweet. Even if he signs a minimum veteran contract, Smith will likely earn at least $1.3 million next season. That's more than 10 times the salary reportedly associated with Wendy's chief tasting officer promotional role. The job itself is mostly symbolic, a marketing gimmick that involves taste testing menu items for promotional campaigns. But when directed at a professional athlete who has earned tens of millions of dollars during his career, the joke felt slightly off target. Smith knew that, and his response reflected it. Geno Smith's unusual NFL journey. The moment also reminded fans of just how unusual Smith's career has been. He originally entered the league when the New York Jets selected him in the second round of the 2013 NFL Draft. At the time, many analysts believed he could become the franchise quarterback for New York, but his early years in the league were rocky. After 2 inconsistent seasons as a starter, Smith gradually drifted into a backup role and spent several years moving between teams. At one point, it looked like his opportunity to start in the NFL might never return. Then came his unexpected career revival. While playing for the Seattle Seahawks, Smith finally received another opportunity when the team traded Russell Wilson. What happened next surprised the entire league. Smith delivered one of the best comeback seasons in recent memory, earning Pro Bowl selections in 2022 and 2023 while reestablishing himself as a legitimate starting quarterback. For a player who had spent years waiting for another chance, it was a remarkable turnaround. Why the Raiders' experiment failed. When the Raiders acquired Smith, the expectation was that he could provide stability while the team rebuilt. Unfortunately, the situation in Las Vegas proved far more complicated. The roster struggled across multiple positions, the defense had major issues, and the offense lacked consistency. Smith's interceptions became a major storyline, but the reality is that the team's problems extended well beyond the quarterback position. Still, the result was clear. A 3-14 record forced the organization to reconsider its entire direction, and that inevitably included the quarterback position. What comes next for Smith? Despite the disappointing season, Smith is unlikely to remain unemployed for long. Veteran quarterbacks with starting experience are always valuable in the NFL. Several teams have already been mentioned as potential destinations, including Minnesota Vikings, Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Jets. Each of those teams could benefit from a steady veteran presence at quarterback. Even if Smith isn't viewed as a long-term franchise quarterback anymore, his experience and leadership still make him a valuable option. He could serve as a bridge starter, a high-quality backup, or even a mentor for a young quarterback. And after the resilience he showed earlier in his career, few people would be surprised if he finds success again. One thing is clear. Whether Smith ends up starting for another team or serving in a supporting role, one thing became clear during this viral moment. The veteran quarterback still has excellent timing. On the field, that timing once helped him complete over 70% of his passes during his breakout season with Seattle. And off the field, it helped him deliver one of the most memorable comebacks of the NFL offseason. Wendy's may have tried to roast him, but this time, Geno Smith fired back and hit his target perfectly.